Hi everyone. Today we're sharing the very first lesson from our brand new Life and Death puzzle solving course for beginners. But first, a massive thank you. Thanks to your amazing support, we just hit 100,000 subscribers, making us the biggest English Go channel on YouTube. Yay! To celebrate, we're running a huge summer sale with 50% off all courses and memberships. Check the pinned comment for your promo code and all the details. Let's dive into the Life and Death lesson. During my regrettably short Go studies in China, every weekend the teacher would take us to Go schools where we, the Western students, spent several hours playing games against the kids. The first few games I played there were demoralizing losses. The kids were usually very aggressive, they'd launch an attack right in the opening, and my stones would just collapse. Then I realized what was happening. The weaker kids, those below 3-4 dan, spent the whole time, what would you think? Not playing games, but solving life and death problems. And those stronger kids who I was trying to challenge had already had thousands and thousands of problems solved that got them to where they were now. So if I wanted to beat them, I needed to be clever. I had to be cunning, devious, and foxy, make some crafty exchanges in a subtle way, and I would strategize them. Or I could just learn to read variations better. Then after seeing this, it also felt less surprising that my weekly practice, Monday to Friday, was sitting in front of a Go board and solving very difficult problems, one after another. Then let the teacher check my answers, then repeat. If you ask any strong player how to get better at Go, how to become strong, you'll get the same disappointing answer. I mean, we secretly expect them to share some ancient wisdom, see one Shusaku game per week, or drink oolong tea in the afternoon. But somehow it's always going to be play and review games and do lots of life and death problems. Our cultural code is pushing us to view all this as a practice session, as an exercise, a drill. No wonder we call it problems in English. A fun activity can be called a problem, right? A lot of us look at it as something unpleasant that you have to deal with, something annoying that you have to tolerate and go through on your way to becoming a better player. Solving problems, tedious and painful, versus playing games, exciting and enjoyable. Change that perception. First off, life and death problems aren't something theoretical and intangible. By solving this little problem here, it's like you're taking your brain to a special gym, doing brain fitness exercises so that it can think and visualize things faster. This makes you more efficient at any stage of the game, and maybe even beyond the game of Go as well. Additionally, a well-designed Go problem collection will include some shapes that actually occur in real games. Once you've studied it and solved it in your practice sessions, you can then solve it at a glance in your game and shock your opponent. It would seem like magic to them, but we'd know the secret. There are more stories up my sleeve that I hope will help change your mind, but let's begin with this. I'm going to call these exercises puzzles instead of problems for the entire duration of this course. Don't laugh, that's a big step for me, as I'm used to their traditional name. But hey, if it makes it sound a bit more positive and fun for you guys, I'm willing to try. To make it a bit easier for me, I might occasionally use the Japanese word Tsumego, which refers to the practice of solving puzzles in Go. So, follow me, and I'll show you some life and death dance moves that might come in handy in the breakdance battle of a Go game. So, let's get started. So, you don't need to worry about life and death so much when you play Go. Otherwise, you'd be playing games in constant fear. You only need to watch out for smaller groups. If you have a group of stones somewhere that's cut off from the rest of your forces, that's when you want to start paying closer attention. How many points of ice space do you have inside? If you have 7 or less, perhaps some defense is necessary. If you have 8 or more, maybe there's no need to worry. That's because with 8 points or more, you can be sure that if your opponent decides to strike inside, you will always be able to resist and still divide that space into 2 separate sections, 2 eyes, and that is enough to live. Take a look at this black group here. Black is completely isolated on the lower side, and you might be worried that, well, is it alive? Is it dead? What's going to happen? But first, let's count how many points black has inside. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 points inside. That is significantly more than 7. So probably this black group is fine, and it is. So if white now decides to strike and play something in the middle, you just play another move next to it, separate the space into 2 sections, and the black group is alive. So you look at this, count the points inside, you see that it's a lot more than 7, and you stop thinking about it and play somewhere else. Now let's take it one step further. Suppose the group looks suspiciously small and not this luxury. Now, how do we even start thinking about life and death there? Let's see once again what life and death in Go is all about. Take a look at this small white group in the corner. This is a lot smaller than before. White only has 3 points inside. 3 is a lot smaller than 7, so probably white needs to make a move to create 2 eyes. And if at this point you're still in doubt what an eye actually is, maybe because you haven't seen the first courses, well, it's this thing right here. And with this group, white would probably need to play in the middle to separate this eye space into 2 separate compartments, 2 sections. Now white has a space here and a space here. Those points cannot be taken by black. It's proclaimed alive and can now allow itself all kinds of immoderate behavior and drunken debauchery because nothing can ever happen to it again. But if your opponent gets there first, plays in the middle, then only 1 eye remains, and the entire white group is going to die. Suppose the situation is like this. A move before this, and we're looking at our opponent's group with a predatory grin, thinking of killing it. How do we go about that goal? We can start by following the most simple strategy ever. Just make the group smaller. The bigger the space inside is, the harder it's going to be to kill. So as you're looking at this group, and before you go into panic mode and start trying all the possible moves inside and see if they work, let's start with the simple thing. Just reduce this group from the outside. Black plays here. This move is called a hane. We're reducing the white shape. If white blocks, now white has 3 spaces inside. And from here, we know what to do. White plays inside, and the white group can't live. From the perspective of living, you do the exact opposite. You start by making the space as big as you can. Then, if it's white's turn here, how to live? The first very reasonable assumption could be that if this move for black, the hane, makes it smaller, then this hane for white should make it bigger, right? No, it doesn't. And this is your chance to punish white's mistake. If white plays like this, how would you answer? Remember the move that black played before to reduce the white space? Well, we play exactly the same move, as if this stone wasn't even there. So black makes this sacrifice, a throw-in. Of course, white can take the stones, but after white does, notice anything? The space has become smaller again. 3 spaces. And black takes the middle point, and white can't live again. And of course, you could also punish white by starting with this move. So we're back to the very famous principle. Your opponent's best move is also your best move. And if this was a very important point for black, it is also important for white. And counterintuitively, we don't hane, but we descend. This is a clear, clean shape that maximizes the white eye space. Now, finally, white has 4 spaces inside, 4 points, and that is enough to live. If black now tries playing at A, white will respond at B, and vice versa. The white group is alive. You think you got it? Well, let me test how well you remember the first courses once again. Now, suppose we have the same thing. White played this incorrect hane, black throws in, and white makes an eye in the corner. Well, how about now? What should black do? The correct answer is black should sacrifice more stones. because white wants to play here next to make 2 eyes. So this has to be where black needs to play. Black plays here, even though white can capture these 2 stones. But after capturing them, white still can't get an eye. White takes 2 stones, black sacrifices another stone, and if white takes, this is not a real eye. This eye is false because black can atari and white will have to connect. So white only has 1 real eye and the group can't live. Now before we continue this life and death journey, I want to show you something important. So let's travel to the endgame first and take a look at this very random endgame position. Imagine that the rest of the board is already filled with stones and this remains. Black and white could both take these first line moves, and suppose it's white's turn right now. So white is going to Hane. Of course, black doesn't want white to enter their territory, so black will block Atari. Could white possibly ignore this Atari now? Well, they could, but that would be so weird. Because white wants to strengthen the corner, protect it, and reduce black's territory. So if white goes to play somewhere else right now, and allows black to take this stone, and this gives black an extra stone, and then reduces the white corner, that is so crazy. So of course, white is going to connect here, and then black will follow with this connection. This is the natural flow of the endgame. However, when you find yourself in situations of life and death, where you aim to kill a group, the game enters a different dimension. It's an entirely new life and death mode that's different from the rest of the game. And here's what I mean. Take a look at this black group on the side. It's white to play, so white reduces from one of the sides, black responds, and white connects, right? No, this is endgame logic. In life and death situations, we can be more savage. When we play reductions, we don't care about those stones. This is just small sacrifices, collateral damage, and none of that would matter if we managed to kill this group. So instead of this connection, we keep reducing. Black has to respond again, and do you notice it? It's exactly the same shape as before. Black has 3 points inside, white plays here, and black dies. But what about those 2 white stones that are in Atari right now? Yes, black can take them. Black can take them both. But the problem is that capturing those stones won't give black any eyes. For example, black captures this stone, and we don't even have to block this way. We can just make sure that black cannot escape. So we can jump or extend, and this is not an eye. This is still a false eye. Black can take this stone. We jump, black can't escape either way, these are false eyes, there's only 1 eye here, black can't live. It is because of this that we don't want to save those stones. By the way, out of this example comes one basic life and death principle that you're bound to see at some point in the future. That is, of course, if you ever choose to jump into the rabbit hole of getting a life and death book. It goes like this: 6 are dead, 7 can live, 8 are alive. These 6 stones on the second line are dead. There's nothing black can do. If we try to make an eye this way, white will reduce, and black doesn't have enough space to live. 7 will be what we just saw earlier. This black group lives or dies depending on who plays first. And if black plays first, I think you can solve this without my help. How would you live? And yes, once again, we're not looking for any point inside. I mean, technically this probably lives as well by making 2 eyes, but we don't need this. Just maximize the space by playing one of these moves, either here or here. And if white tries to reduce, black blocks, and we have 4 points inside. This is enough to live. And 8 would be this. If the group becomes even bigger and even longer, it doesn't even need any move here. Black is already alive and white can't do anything. So if it's black's turn, black shouldn't play here and black should play somewhere else. 6 dead, 7 can live, 8 alive. This idea is interesting, and we'll get back to this in the future. Now, let me show you an example from a double-digit queue game that I just happened to see on OGS. I've removed all other stones and only left the key life and death situation. In the game, black played here, and white answered like this, with a Hane very severely. Now, if you're black, what would you do? This black move was correct. It made one eye here, and it set up two more possible eyes, either here or here. So after white plays from this side, black should take the other one, and now black is alive. But this is not what happened in the game. Both players didn't fully grasp that they were in a separate life and death mode right now, so they kept playing this position as if it was regular endgame. So what happened in the game was black blocked here. Now white is in Atari, so white connected. And both of these moves are mistakes from the life and death point of view, because when black plays here, white should absolutely take the second eye. And now black has only one, and black can't live. This stone doesn't really matter, remember? If black takes it, white can just jump, black can't make two eyes. So remember, don't play the game in automatic mode. When you see that the stone is in Atari, and your brain tells you, save it now, wait, think about it. Do you really have to save it? Is it endgame? Maybe yes. Is it a life and death situation where you have a chance to kill black right now? Then maybe not. And before we start talking about more advanced things from outer space, I just want to emphasize this once again. Reducing the eye space, playing a simple Hane or reduction from the outside, is often the one and only technique you need. Seriously, don't even think about anything more complicated before you try this simple approach. I kid you not. A lot of situations you will encounter in your games are solved with just this. Let me just show you a few more examples of that. Check this out. Black already has one eye here, and white is thinking about attacking this group. The simplest thing we can think of? Just play reduction, play a Hane. So from either side, white plays this, white blocks, and another reduction, only one eye. Let's see another example. Take a look at this group. Black is very small, it's white's turn, so what would you do as white? Remember, a reduction doesn't have to be a Hane. It could be just a push from the outside. So in this case, if white plays this Hane, well, black will connect here. Now this is an eye, and there's going to be another one here. So the answer is push from the outside. Simply reduce the space. And if black connects here, technically, white doesn't even have to play here anymore, because the eye space is already not big enough. Even if black gets an extra move and plays here, it only becomes a shape that we already know. White will play in the middle, so if black connects, white can already play somewhere else. A simple reduction from the outside did the trick again. Now let's move away from the edge of the board and imagine that black has a group in the center and is completely locked from the outside. It is white's turn, so what should white do? And once again, there's no need to do anything complicated. White can just push, and if black blocks here, another push, and black doesn't have enough space for a second eye. Or white could also start from this push, and it works the same way. Very often, a life and death situation in a real game is going to look something like this. There's a group, and you just push, reduce it from the outside, and it just doesn't have enough space to make two eyes anymore. This next situation might seem a little bit more difficult. Look at this. It's black to play. There are many possible moves inside that we can consider, but let's not think about this right now. Let's think simple first. There's an easy way in which black can attack these stones, so see if you can find it. Once again, before you even consider playing something inside like this or this or this, let's think about simple reductions from the outside. Well, this might be the first move, but this is a little bit unclear. Like, what if white plays here? What if white plays here? Now, there's some space inside. Can we kill it? This might also be a little unclear, because white's going to block with Atari and the space inside is quite big. The easier way, in this case, is just to Atari. It threatens this stone, but it also threatens this stone. If white connects, black captures. And these white stones really can't live. Simple and straightforward. And by the way, everything we just said for attacking and killing is also true for living. When you have a group that needs to live, before you consider playing key moves and vital points, think simple, maximizing your ice space. Try to make it as big as possible and see if that will be enough to live. Because not only is this simple, but also it gives you more territory. Take a look at this black group here, for example. It is black's turn. Black doesn't have enough space. So a beginner looking at this might think, well, black needs to start making eyes, so how about I make one eye right now? Yes, this is one eye, but where is the second eye? Even if you manage to make it after this, the group will be very, very small. But actually after this, black can't make two eyes. If you play here, do you see how white is going to kill? Once again, this is the point that black really wants to take, so white will take it. And once again, it's the same sacrifice of a stone. Black can take the stone, but white is going to cut, and capturing this stone will result only in a false eye. So black just made one eye like this, but the entire group can't live after this. Instead of this, let's make this black group bigger. Let's go here and try to grow. White is going to block, and now, for example, we play here and make this space as big as possible. Now this is so much better than making just one eye, right? Now black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces inside, and this is enough for black to live. But of course, if reducing a group or making it bigger was enough to solve any life and death situation, this would be perfect. But it doesn't always work this way. Sometimes we need something else. By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.